I've been asking the Lord to help me through all the middle of this chaos and craziness and everything that's going on in our nation and in our world, and especially in our nation. That's the thing I know about is America. Um, and I've been asking God to help me understand how He wants me to respond to it. Because see, I can easily respond with bitterness and anger and hatred just like anybody else. I can do that. But I also know that I'm commissioned by God and through His Word, and I want to respond the way the Lord wants me to respond because God says I'm supposed to love my enemies. I'm supposed to pray for them. That's what I want to do. I want to do what God says for me to do because I want to wear a crown of life one day. I want to hear the Lord say, "Well done, thy good and faithful servant." This is the goal of my life. So I don't want to respond incorrectly. I don't want to let anger get the best of me. And the Lord has helped me. I said to my friend Richie McNally, Richie, I've got to seek God. I've got to learn something from God about how He wants me to respond to all this. And I know the Lord has helped me through reading and talking to God. God just directs us. He does that. And I've learned that I'm supposed to be like Paul was. When he loaded on that boat, they loaded to take him to Italy. And he told them, they got there and sailing. He said, we really probably don't need to go this way. I don't believe we should with the fall coming and the water going to get like it is. We probably need to do something different. Probably need to hold up here. And they said, no, we're going to forge on through. So they did. And Paul's down in the bottom of the ship. He's a prisoner, pretty much like I am and Christians are now. We're sort of a prisoner to the times of when people have rejected God. They've turned away from Him. They've walked their own way. And so I don't need to be full of hatred. The world's already full of that. I don't need to be full of bitterness. They're full of that. I don't need that. I need to be a man of God that responds in the spite of chaos in a godly way. And that's what Paul did. Paul did what God told him to do. And then when the storm hit, he comes up and said, "Fellows, I've been told by an angel last night." Can you imagine a man who communed with God and an angel appeared to him and said, "There's going to be a storm, but if they'll get rid of everything off this ship and no man jumps off, everybody will be saved, all 276 of you." And they were. They listened. The captain decided, let's listen to Paul because they saw the Spirit of God upon him. And our world is starving to death to see the Spirit of God upon some people. A bunch of us. They're starving to death for it. People need hope terribly bad. They need it. So when they landed, they crashed the ship into they took the anchors off and left the ship to the sea, and it crashed and hit aground and run aground further out than they wanted it to. And then the waves kept crashing against the back of the boat, and it tore the back of it off. But anyway, they swam to shore. They get up there and they started gathering sticks for a fire. And Paul picks up some sticks and he throws them in the fire. And a very venomous, poisonous snake bit Paul on the hand. And the people said, "See there, he shouldn't have made it out of that boat." We see now that he probably is a wicked man. But Paul did what? He shook that serpent off and threw it back in the fire. And when they saw that venomous, poisonous snake, they knew what would kill people. Didn't kill Paul. They knew there was something about him, the people there on the land of where they landed. So they started bringing people to Paul. God started using him and performing miracles through him in the midst of all this storm. Paul started praying for people. People started getting healed. They stayed there 3 months until the weather changed and the people helped them get ready to go on down into Italy, down into Rome. Now, I remind you, Paul was a prisoner of the situation. He responded correctly. And that's what we've got to do as children of God. We've got to respond correctly. People are starving to death for truth. They're starving to death for hope. We got to realize that. We got to see above the plane. We got to look at our enemies and realize they're really not our enemies. We're supposed to pray for them. They're lost. We who have known God, we know how lost we were, don't we? I know how lost I was. And you couldn't really get much more lost than I was. I was blind. I was morally bankrupt. I was away from God. So I encourage you, Christian, let's be different. Let's not just be warriors. Let's be soldiers. Soldiers of light in the army of God. You know what we'll see? We'll see God perform miracles through us. In Jesus' name, God bless you, everyone.